Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Elias Planiakos, and I'm here today to talk to you about HTC's newest handset for the Canadian marketplace, the HTC Panache. I'm going to give you a brief run-through of the specs, performance of this little device, and in the end, what I'd like to call the little things that may make or break this phone for some users. Alright, let's get started. So I can already hear people asking, what the heck is an HTC Panache? Well, most of you out there outside of Canada may know it as the MyTouch 4G. In this case, currently available from TMobile in the United States. Only difference physically really between the two is in the US, T-Mobile's got a little green Genius button, they call it. But over here, it's just a normal, plain old magnifying glass, and that's about it for physical differences. The HTC Panache runs Android 2.3.3 and has HTC Sense UI version 2.1 running on top of it. Now this software overlay, or SenseUI by itself, provides a lot of functionality to the phone, provides a lot more, many more features rather, otherwise not available on standard Android 2.3.3 or 0.4. And that may be something else for another review because there's way too many things in there that are outside of the hardware. But let's focus first on the hardware itself. Looking around the phone, it's very solid. I'd like to start off just by saying that the entire phone has been designed very nicely. The sides, the back, everything is either metal or some sort of very hard aluminum and a very nice rubber grip. There is virtually no dead space between the battery and the battery plate, so there is no hollow feel. It's just solid, rock hard, very nice. Then, of course, you always have your volume rocker over here, the power button, which I love that it's in the top left corner, so that we can reach it with both hands. We have the camera button, which in itself is a very nice design. I'll get to that in just a moment. 5-megapixel camera in the back with that wonderful flash, and you have your 1.3 megapixel camera there, along with the along with the proximity sensor and status LED notification light. At the bottom of this one, it also has an infrared trackpad, as well as four physical hardware keys, which I find very nice, strictly because if you're running applications that involve you moving your fingers around, I call them applications, you may call them games, you know. If you accidentally swipe your finger past the point of the screen and you accidentally trigger one of those capacitive touch buttons, it may send you back home or something like that. In this case, since they're physical, you don't have to worry about pressing them by accident when you're running games. So in terms of the screen, it is a 3.8-inch TFT LCD display, so many people were wondering, it is not a Super AMOLED or AMOLED screen, it is a TFT display. It does run the same resolution found on the HTC Nexus 1 and the Samsung Nexus S, which is 800 tall by 480 pixels across. So that resolutions remain constant over those three phones, Nexus 1, Nexus S, and the HTC Panache. But what really sets it apart, what I find the most benefit, is the additional RAM. The Nexus 1 and Nexus S have 512 megabytes of RAM, whereas the HTC Panache has 768 megabytes of RAM. Now that's very important when we're talking about graphics, multitasking, you know, overall smooth performance of a handset. This phone also comes with a 1400 milliamp hour battery. It's the same kind of battery you'd find on the Nexus 1. It would have been nice to see a higher capacity battery, especially with a display this large and this vibrant. However, you know, they chose to go that route. Hopefully they'll have CDO or third parties will have other batteries coming out. But in this case, this device itself will come with 1400 milliamp hour battery. Now let's take a look at the display. I find it very vibrant, very bright, easy to see. Viewing angles pretty much very nice at any angle you take a look at this device. Horizontal, vertical, absolutely no issues there. I find it with this very large glass surface, or it's actually plastic, it does feel like glass, however, it's very smooth when scrolling from screen to screen. The pixel density is very nice on this device. Everything looks very clear and crisp, something I'm very fond of in these devices, especially when they are over 3.5 inches in size. If only you can see this in person, you'd be just as impressed as I am. Alright, so let's talk about performance. Let's see where this thing can go, what it can do, what boundaries it can cross, what it can explode, what walls it can crash through. Well, right now it's running a very subtle live wallpaper in the background, but again, that's very subtle. So what we're going to do, I did take the liberty of going onto the marketplace, and I'm going to run the most, I guess, not complicated, but most tedious live wallpaper I can find, and see how that runs when scrolling from screen to screen, because that is important. Hardware is nothing without software, and performance is nothing without practical examples. So this is something I picked up from the Android marketplace. It was some Vortex Galaxy theme. Very smooth. Let's try going from screen to screen here. Actually, that's a good example right there. Let's see I don't know, does that bounce look smooth to you? It does to me. Look at that. Let's go as fast as we can here. Alright, let's do the multi-home trick here. There we go. That's very smooth. That's what I love to see, and that's a big deal to do with the processor at 1 gigahertz, and the additional amount of RAM there never hurts at all. Let's try opening up the menus here. Very smooth scrolling, even with a very busy live wallpaper running in the background, which is important for many people. I mean, you do have a device that is capable of animated wallpapers. You want to make sure it can at least run it without any issues, without any quirks, and that's very important. And it's good to see that it does that. Okay, so on that note, let's go on to the web browser. This is running on a Wi-Fi connection. Boom, we got full bars. So let's go ahead and load up one of my favorite websites. No, it's not Google, on a Google phone. Would have thought it. Instead, let's go to good old Engadget. Now, one thing right away, some users may notice that that generally use the stock Android 2.3 device software. The keyboard on this device is very nice, very large. It is larger than my Nexus One I have here. I'll just throw it next to it just for quick comparison here. I find it much easier to type on on the HTC Panache. I think it has to do a lot with the fact that the keyboard is a bit taller on the Panache. If you take a quick look here, the black tint is a nice touch, but realistically, I'd rather take performance over visual cues. Right here, you can see the difference in the keyboards. I find this one much larger, easier to type on. God knows I would have made 3 mistakes already typing Engadget.com, but there you have it. So let's go ahead and load up. Alright, and of course, take us to the mobile version. Let me flick it, and you can take... Nope! Locked the poor guy. Let's open them up again. Let's do a quick rotation here. Alright, this is the mobile version, so let's go all the way down, and let's go to desktop. FYI, I do have Flash on demand, which means Flash will not download when the website is accessed, only if I tap on the Flash content. So let's go ahead and wait for it to load. It's chugging along there, okay. Before it renders, I want to see how quickly it rotates. Alright, still thinking there. Not bad, not too shabby. Alright, so while it's still trying to finish that up, let's go over here and, well, it's not fair. Let's wait for it to finish loading. I'll get back to it. There we go. So, as you can see, scrolling is very smooth. I'm very impressed. No checkerboard. I'm not playing chess. I'm not playing checkers. I'm playing with my Google phone, and I don't see anything that's slowing this thing down. Here we go. The pinch to zoom works very well, mind you. Very smooth. Let's go really slow-mo. There we go. And as close as I can go into this bad boy. You know what? That's cheating. That's bold font. Let's go to normal font. Look at that. And hopefully my camera doesn't butcher this. Do you see artifacts? I don't. And that's true. Nothing. Clear, crisp, refreshing. It's like you're actually reading a book. I guess I just discovered another interesting thing of SenseUI. When you are in the browser and you want to open up a new window, you just zoom out and you can open a new tab there, whatever you want. One thing I did miss from this phone is with a screen this size, you would expect some sort of a Gorilla Glass or some sort of very high-end coating. In the end, it is a very nice display. However, without a screen protector, I can see it getting scratched up quite a bit. You see some finger grease there, a little smiley face. There we go. But you do want to invest in a screen protector to protect this phone. And one thing I did appreciate as well, it is accessory friendly. What I mean by that is not the dock connector. However, the fact that OtterBox does have cases available for this, a few other companies do as well. Something very difficult when you have a phone like the Nexus S when it has a lip at the bottom. Fortunately, this device does have a slew of accessories available, from silicone to TPU to OtterBox military cases, and that's very nice. Overall, I found this phone very fast and had a very solid screen. Very clear and crisp when web browsing, everything rendered very quickly with and without live wallpapers. I did load a few widgets here to try to slow it down, and of course there's no slowing down the HTC Panache. And HTC SenseUI version 2.1 only makes things better with the ability to track, wipe, and lock your phone, customize the LED light, block colors. Keyboard is very large, and a cool browser zoom out to make it easier to navigate. But more into that in another video. For now, HTC Panache definitely has my recommendation. Again, this is your last Planakos. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the review.